What is going on? What is going on? What is going on? It's your boy, Julien Stoutt, licensed personal trainer, licensed PE teacher, world record powerlifter, special education teacher, here to take the fear out of fitness. Woo, boy, I am in a great mood today. Not for the reasons you might think, because there's people out here in the internet, interwebs trying me, and I'm about that life. I'm petty, just so y'all know. But I will clap back. Don't think for 1 second I won't clap back. But that's not why. I mean, I got that nonsense dealing with, but there's certain things that I want to address over the break. First of all, hope you're liking the videos that I've been putting out recently. I am posting some pre-recorded videos just so that I can keep the algorithm going. But every Wednesday and some Sundays, I will be live. If I'm not going to be live that Wednesday, you'll know ahead of time. But for the most part, every Wednesday, I will be live. And then I will be dealing with other topics and putting out that information over the course of the week. So that way you have something to chew on while I am not on the airwaves. However, you see the title and the thumbnail. We're not even going to play around. As you know, I'm not actually a fan of BBLs. I am actually a fan of women looking the best that they can look, as opposed to merely just trying to recreate the body of their brain, what they imagine themselves to be, as opposed to what they really are. Because beauty to me is not particularly something that can be just attained through physical means. Number one, you have to be a nice person on the inside. I mean, you could have some quirks, but at the same time, you have to be a nice person, first and foremost. Second of all, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, technically. So what one man finds to be beautiful, another man may not. What one woman finds to be handsome, another woman may not. But that's not what this is about. I have been a huge enemy of the BBL. I am not ever going to promote that behavior, that ideology, because as a personal trainer, I want you to turn around and go in the gym and go do some squats. Go lift some weights. Do something like that. You know, if you want your thick with 3 C's, you want to turn around and get your butt in the gym instead of pumping it with CCs. Okay? You already know what I'm talking about. So here's the deal. A few days ago, I came across a post. It was actually supposed to be funny. I'm gonna run the post on here in a moment. Shout out to Cullen19M or Culin19M. His reel came up on my Facebook page, and at first I thought, you know, I could clearly see something happen to him at the end of this video, but initially because of how it ended, you were kind of concerned that this might have been a little on the realer side. But more times than not, if it's on social media, it's not real. I guarantee you the fall was real, but the incident was not. And considering that the other person involved is an Instagram model and a fitness body positivity model, and that's not even what we're talking about here. There's no way in the world that what we're talking about now is in fact true, because people are talking about, oh, BBL, BBL, BBL. And when you see this woman, I'm going to go down the things that will let you know what a BBL actually is. First of all, nobody is suggesting that she's not enhanced, but to suggest that she is a BBL is absolutely hilarious, because there's some criteria that men know that a BBL entails. Okay, so let's start with the video. I'm gonna share my screen with y'all. So this is the video, and I'm gonna play it for you real quick.
It says spray on flat surfaces only.
Flat?
Yeah, flat. You know, flat like, oh, chill up.
Okay. So, clearly, you're seeing that the man fell. Clearly, that wasn't supposed to be a part of the bit. But the spraying on flat surfaces, clearly she's not flat. She's not outlandishly round either. So I'm not critiquing her body per se. I don't want you to get the wrong impression. But, pun intended, she clearly is not a BBL. And I'm going to show you why I know that. So are we playing? Let's go forward. Let's go back. So let's stop right there. I know this is going to be a little bit more on the gratuitous side of things because, and as a matter of fact, buckle up because we're going to scroll through some footage that may not be, pleasant for some viewers to see, but at the same time, this is educational. This is not perverted. This is not intentional on fanfare or ogling a woman's body per se. This is literally educational for a reason. I want y'all to understand a few things. First indicator of BBL not being likely, probable, highly unlikely, is number one. Let's start with, excuse me, let me move that up a little bit. Is number one, look at her calves. They're not overly defined. They're not tiny. She has thicker ankles, thicker calves. And if you look at the calves to the knee area, it does not suggest that no part of her thighs have been enhanced. No part of her legs have been enhanced. Her glutes actually line up adjacent to her thighs. Okay? That's number two. Let's keep going. Let's stop there. Clearly, she's a large woman. I don't know how tall she is. Based on, if I'm judging the height of these shelves right, she's about 5'5", 5'6", maybe 5'4". The smallest she is 5'4". The tallest she could possibly be is about 5'6", 5'7". But here she is wearing yoga pants, right? Does she look like a woman that looks skinny anywhere? And again, I'm not passing judgment. This is not what this is. I want you to see what I'm seeing to analyze what it is that a person that is a professional looks at to identify potentials of a BBL. Number one, she does not look like a small woman. She does not look of slight in any facet of her physicality. She looks quite large. We're not talking about obesity right now. Naturally, she looks quite large. Okay, and I'm going to go back because I've done my homework. All right? I have scrolled all the way to the very beginning of her journey on Instagram. So I am not disillusioned by who she is. And I'm going to go through some things so that way you guys can understand what it is that I'm looking at. But again, I digress.
It says spray on flat surfaces only.
Flat?
Yeah, flat. You know.
Okay, stop right here. She's got a shelf. It's not outlandishly round. You can see cellulite. Not judging. Most women have cellulite, especially larger women. Usually have cellulite somewhere. Usually, if a woman has a BBL, they're going to smooth that bad boy out. Okay? Nobody's going to allow themselves to enhance to such a degree where they're not going to go through the whole scenario. So the BBL thing, which stands for Brazilian butt lift. What lift do you see here on her butt? Where do you see a symmetrical rounding of her glutes? Where do you see that her glutes exceeds far beyond her thigh depth is what I would call it. So if you're looking at her from the side, where does her glutes exceed the depth of her thighs to such a degree? Most glutes should exceed past the depths of their thighs. However, if it does, how far out is it exceeding it? Is it exceeding it to such a degree where it is almost cartoonish? Or is it just merely she just has a lot of material to work with? Okay, let's keep going. She starts running. Again, look at the hip to glute ratio, right? It is not so out there that this is not actually possible. How do I know this? I have firsthand knowledge on how do I know this. My wife is built like this. I'm not gonna lie. My wife is very wide at the hips, very gluteally enhanced. I assure you, we do not have the finances to go performing BBLs on my wife. Okay? I assure you, anybody that's met my wife could tell you she is quite ample in the gluteus region. Is it outlandishly rounded to where it doesn't look natural? Absolutely not. I guarantee you that. She looks built like my wife, who is of similar size. No, I'm not casting any aspersions here. But here we go. Where this is what I'm seeing. So where is the BBL? Where's the Kim Kardashian? Where's the Nicki Minaj? Where's the Cardi B? I don't see it. Again, no shade on those women. But I keep saying it, but I'm going to keep saying it. I don't care. Pun intended. Where is that in this screen? Where do you see this? Look, where do you see that? Show me. I want to see where you see a BBL at. But I'm going to go into these comments real quick, and I'm going to show you what the comments was. Because I turned around and said, y'all don't know a BBL if they did the surgery in front of you. That's all woman. No, she ain't. Go to her Instagram. She's a BBL and then some. Haha. Okay, let's go to her Instagram. And let's scroll all the way to the bottom. Let's scroll all the way to the bottom. I'm trying to go past all this gratuitous foolishness. And I ain't talking about whether or not it's attractive or not. I am literally just merely talking about certain things. And I'm going to go point out some other aspects to her. I keep throwing out the puns, boy. Them puns keep coming. All right, let's start with this picture. This is her. Initially, right? So let's go back. Let's keep going. So she's clearly lost weight. Look at her face. And now look at her thighs. And look at her butt. It's still there. Look, I want you to see it. I'm literally tracing it out. I don't know who that girl is next to her, but she needed to get out the way just for this particular incident. Right? She looks like exactly like the same type of dimensions that she looked like before. Let's keep going. Okay, here we go again. Clearly, she's lost some weight. Like I said, she is a large woman, naturally large. She's in shape and she's still large. She is in the top. She's in my 27 body type. I don't know how tall she is, but she is in my endomorphic end of the spectrum for me. My highest recorded weight was 266. So my highest recorded weight was 266. I don't know how much she weighs here, but I guarantee you she ain't no 110. I guarantee you she ain't even 125. She ain't 125. She ain't 130. Not in these pictures. Not at all. Okay? Well, let's keep going. Again, this is the beginning of the journey. Look at her waistline. Look at her glutes. Look at how the cellulite sits, because you can still see the cellulite through the yoga pants. I digress. Keep going. Here she is lifting. Okay. As you can see, she's got some fat on her arms, but she's clearly working out. Stomach is kind of flat, but you can see the extra skin from having lost an excessive amount of weight, right? Comes with the territory. That is the enhancement part that I was referring to earlier. She might be enhanced, but she does not have a BBL. Let's keep going. She's showing you her back. She's showing you that her muscles are developing well in her back. She even has back abs. Look at that, right? But let's keep going. So here we go. Let's keep going. Let's pause it real quick where she gets to the top. Here we go. Look at her abs. They're a little bit more flatter. Look at her rib cage. Look at her arms. Look at her thighs. I assure you again, she is not tiny. I'm not saying she's not fit, and I'm not saying that her weight loss journey was a bust, because actually it wasn't. She's clearly losing weight, and she's clearly getting in shape, but look at her knees, look at her calves, look at her thighs, look at the proportionality of it all. I mean, in the other video, here we go, let's go here. Here, if you look, the proportionality is similar. Not the size, proportionality, people. This is where you need to stay paying attention in math class. The proportionality is similar. Her knees and her calves are almost running together. Her thighs are still rather on the larger side. Her thighs are still on the larger side. And on top of that, her hip to thigh ratio is still there. I can't see her glutes from here, but her hip to thigh ratio is still there. If she were to turn and face you, you would see that even in her weight loss, she's very wide at the hips. Still. But let's keep going. Okay, let's pause it. Let's stop right there. Clearly, she's sitting down. You can see her thighs. You can see her calves. You can see her glutes, and you can see her back. Clearly, she's not lacking back there. Where is she lacking? And as you see her sit, you can tell that she has fat deposits already naturally on her hips, because clearly she does not look like she's had surgery. This is early in the journey on her YouTube, on her Instagram page. All right. I want y'all to, I'm pointing this out for educational purposes, because I want y'all to see that y'all open your mouths and say ignorant crap thinking that you know something when you really don't know jack, because you're under the impression or the assumption that that anybody that does not look like you or doesn't look like what you expect must have done something beyond the comparison or the pale of what it is supposed to be normal. Well, I got news for you. Not everybody's body is normal. Not everybody is going to have the same body as you. Not everybody's going to look like an up and down stick. Not everybody's going to look like a round beach ball. Not everybody's going to look like an hourglass. Some people are going to look like a half-hour glass up top, a complete 3-hour glass on the bottom. Some people are going to look like a 3-hour glass up top and look like a half-hour glass on the bottom. That's the way it is. And I'm not casting aspersions. I'm just stating fact. But just to turn around and throw out just accusations without proof or without knowledge or without actually measuring things is laughable. Did she get breast implants? We already know she did. She's the one who even posted about it. But I digress. Let's keep going. Pause. Same look. She's bigger. She's clearly bigger here. Let's go back. She's bigger here, but look at the same ratio, people. Is it different? Is it outlandishly larger, proportionately speaking? No. I'm not even going to go any further than that. Okay, again, let's pause it when she gets to the point. Okay, let's stop right there. Waistline small, hips are wide, butt is big, but it is not curved. It is not like Zimbabwean women. That's not what you're looking at. It is not so out there that you could throw a boomerang and it comes and you got to go run to the other side to catch it. That's not what we're looking at. I'm not saying this is bad. What I'm saying is that she has the booty of a woman who has a lot of fat in her butt, but the rest of her, she stores a lot of body fat in the typical areas the average woman will store body fat. And how it looks is all dependent on what she's doing. And she clearly works out, but that doesn't mean it's all going to shape the way we all think it's supposed to shape out because you work out a certain way. It just doesn't work that way. Genetics is a thing. But I digress. Here we go. Hips. She's wide at the hips, narrow at the waist. Let's keep going. Let me go back. Pause. Again, cellulite. Hips line up with thighs. Let's go back. Hips line up with thighs. If this is a BBL, this is a terrible job. If this is what she was going, if she was going for an actual BBL, this would be a terrible job at it. And considering the substantial amount of wealth that she's in possession of, and considering the amount of fitness work that she goes through, I am pretty damn sure she is not going for a certain look. She is going for the look that her body allows her to have with how she is going about building herself. What she is doing is that she is now a plus size model. She is not thin. She was never thin. Not obese. She was not obese. She was never thin, but she was fit. She decided to lean more into the plus size body positivity end of it while still showing that she has athleticism. She can carry herself a certain way. She can perform what she needs to perform when she needs to perform it. She is no shrinking violet. And I am actually celebrating that part, even though I am not in the celebration of obesity. I am also not going to sit here and denigrate this woman because she does go to the gym. She's choosing to be larger for a reason, to send a specific message. Fine. She chooses to be larger. She is not somebody devoid of a lack of understanding of what fitness really is and what her health is. Again, I want you to see. I'm pausing it for a reason. Look, them thighs are jiggling, but there's muscle there. Her hips are still wide. You can see her actual ASIS right here, anterior sacral iliac crest. ASIS. You can see her iliac crest right here. So that means she's lost weight. That means she's closer to her actual goal weight than she was away from it. Okay? Let's keep going. Because again, I'm pointing these things out to you so that way you guys can be educated on whether or not you're looking at a BBL or not. Okay? Let's keep going. Okay, I went too far. Let's go back. Okay, let's go back. I want to get to the actual one we were on. Let's go to this one. Okay, let's pause it. Again, hips, thighs, abs are showing, large woman. All she is just large. Okay, let's keep going. Would you imagine this? Here we go. Again, glutes, everything. Shaking, thighs. What am I seeing? Cellulite still. Again, natural. That's what a natural butt looks like. There's going to be some cellulite on it somewhat, unless it is primarily muscle. If it's primarily muscle, then you start getting the round smoothness without actually having as much cellulite, if not any, depending on where she is in her fitness journey. Okay? Again, I do this in real life. I've seen hundreds, if not thousands of women built like her. No BBL included. As a matter of fact, BBLs was not even a thing when I first started training like that. But I had to train women who looked like her. I do train women who look like her and are going to look like her. So one of the biggest problems I have with y'all is that y'all are quick to make assumptions about a woman's body when you don't know what the hell you're talking about. She's clearly matching. Again, let's go back. She's bigger now in everywhere. It's not like her glutes got bigger and her thighs are still like this. Now, if that happened, then clearly we're in the realm of BBL. Clearly we're in the realm of BBL, but we're not. But let's keep going. Let's go back. Again, look at the circumference of her glutes, which is right there. This is where her glutes end. This is where her thighs begin. You can clearly still see cellulite on her glutes. Her abs are flat. Back is relatively flat. Arms are actually toned. Okay? She's clearly in the gym bathroom taking photos. Okay? Somebody said, now here's where people are making ill-fated comments, saying you should have kept your body like this. That's her journey. Maybe she wanted to gain the weight back, to do something else. Maybe she's making more money now. Maybe she's making more money now being the size that she is here than she was here. It might be a financial decision. Clearly she could make the decision to get in the shape like this. Sometimes it's not about she can't eat, that it's a health issue per se. Sometimes it's she's making more money because clearly she's over here making YouTube videos and collaborating with other people, chasing them down in the supermarket. But here we go. Some of y'all might even think I'm simping, but I'm not. But let's keep going. Again. Here we go. I'm waiting for her to move her hand so that way, she's not going to move her hand. Okay. Okay. Thighs. Still has body fat on it. Looks like natural body fat to me. She still jiggles where a woman normally jiggles. Hips are naturally wide. Her waist is smaller. Clearly she's lost weight. Look at the size of her arms. Okay? Look at the size of her arms here. Now look at the size of her arms here. Clearly she's a bigger woman. She's clearly bigger now. But yet y'all want to keep talking spicy about this woman's body like as if she's faking the funk. But let's keep going. What I wear to the gym is none of your business, starter pack, whatever. Okay, I get the joke. But anyway, again, this is her in all her fitness. Again, thighs, hips, glutes. So I'm going to come out of this. Again, thighs, calves. Look at the calves to the thighs. Look at the glutes to the hips. And look at the thighs to the glutes. She's already had it. So now let's go back to the video again. Let's play it back. Let's run it back and then go back again. Okay. Pause it. Let's see what we're looking at right now. Ms. Lopez, I am not being disrespectful. I promise you. I'm actually I'm in defense of you right now. Because too many people talk spicy and turn around and claim BBLs and this, that, the other, yada, yada, yada. And they don't know what they're talking about. So, clearly her thighs and her glutes are larger, but look at her calves. They're larger too. I'm going to pause it as soon as she sits up. Look at her arms. Clearly she's put some weight back on. And again, I'm not judging that. I am trying to scientifically point out to you she has put weight back on. And if you look, her hip to thigh ratio still has not changed. She has gained body fat to expand upon her shape. For those of y'all who are watching right now, put a 1 in the chat if you think that this is a BBL. And if you don't think it's a BBL, put a 2, because I'm on a 2. I'm gonna start it off. I'm gonna put a 2 in the chat. Okay? Because that's what I think. I think she's a woman who once lost weight, who once was obese at one point, then lost weight, and then proceeded to then see that there's more money on the plus side, on the plus size side, as opposed to being on the fitter side. She still works out. She still tries to keep it together. She still keeps it together. She just decided to put a little bit more size on so that way people look at her and appreciate her at her size while still having some semblance of attraction, some semblance of curves, as opposed to just being fit with curves. I think she thinks it's better on this side. So with that being said, I do appreciate the fact that she's here. Keep going. I'm going to keep going. Again, she has glutes. Her hip to glute ratio is not out of pocket. Again, she's fit here. Let's keep going. So this is her fit, mind you. Look at her hips. Look at her thighs. Look at her waist. Back to the videotape. Look at her waist. It's wider. It's thicker. Look at her hips. Look at her thighs. They're thicker. The first thing y'all idiots want to throw out your mouth is BBL. Y'all don't know what the hell you're talking about. Y'all are just accuse people of doing anything that you don't believe is possible because you can't perceive it. Oh, that's got to be a BBL, dog. Look how big it is. Look at the thighs. Look at this. Look at that. But you ain't looking. You're not really looking. You're looking for the sake of looking, but you're not looking with an analytical mind. You're not looking for the purpose of knowing what a BBL really looks like. So let's go there. Examples of BBLs. I'm going to go through images. Okay, let's look at this. Again, look at the shape and look at what it turned into. Okay? Shape turned into. Notice the extra curve at the top. Notice the lack of hip width. Okay? Notice flat. Has some roundness, but it's not as out there. All of a sudden, look at how curvy it became. And look how taut her glutes are. Look how more taut it is, right? Again, check it out. Look at how much more taut. Do you see the lack of cellulite density in her glutes right now? Look here. More cellulite, less cellulite. Not saying that there's no fat tissue there. I'm saying there's not as much cellulite. Cellulite, less cellulite, more rounded. Flat cellulite, not so flat, far less cellulite. Cellulite, flatter, rounder, less cellulite. Let's go back. Play the video.
What are you doing?
It says brown flat surfaces only.
Flat?
Yeah, flat. You know.
Right there. Does that look like the results of a BBL? Or just working hard and gaining weight and then happen to have the genetic gift of actually having fat deposits show up more in her glutes and her thighs? Could it be possibly that? It could possibly be that. More than likely than not. I did not say, and I will repeat again, I did not say that she's not enhanced. She already said that she's already shown on Instagram that she went and got breast augmentation. But usually most people get breast augmentation after they've lost considerable amount of weight and their breasts aren't no longer as perky as they once was, whether they were at the highest weight or when they were at their lowest weight. They're not as perky, so they do go get breast implants. Also, let's go back to Instagram, and I'm going to go to the photographs. So let's go back, because I'm going to go to a specific photograph that I saw that lets me know she's had a tummy tuck. Let me find it. It ain't much, but it's honest work. Okay? But again, people are turning around and trying to accuse her of having a BBL. Okay, cool. Let's start with this picture. She's clearly sitting here. Look at this picture. I'm not laughing. I promise you guys. I swear to you, I'm not laughing at her. This is not what I'm doing. I'm laughing because this photograph right here proves my point. Look at her stomach. Not so flat. Look at how she's sitting. Look at how much thigh is sitting out here. Again, I am talking from personal experience. This is how my wife is built. I'm not even kidding. So, sits down, hips just, when she sits down on something, hips just spread. Thighs just everywhere. Right? Stomach is not flat. But let's keep going. I'm going to find the picture that's going to I'm trying to show you that lets me know that she's had something done. Okay. Right here. Do you see that line that crosses right here? That's about the extent of the work that she had done outside of breast augmentation. Here we go. Here's the photograph that I was looking for. Look right here. That line right there above her pubic area. That is what you get when you have a C-section, actually. But it's also one that you can get when you're trying to remove excess skin after you've lost a considerable amount of weight. Is that a BBL? No, it's not. It's called a tummy tuck, people. It's not a BBL. Again, let's go back. This photo, all the way back down. To this photo. This is where it's at, y'all. And that is why I know that this is not a BBL. This is why I know she's putting in that work. This is why I know, at least from my perspective, she's putting in that work and she's just getting physically larger. She's embraced her largeness and has decided to keep up her fitness while increasing her size. No different than what guys do. You ever seen guys on their bulking stage? That's what this is for her. Again, I am not passing judgment on her. And it is time that we as a society just simply stop really just... Now, don't get me wrong. You'll know a BBL when you really see one, especially if you know the person or if you've been following their journey. You'll know a BBL when you see one. A real one when you see one, okay? And I've seen them around town. I've seen them when I was in Florida. I see them all the time. That is not a BBL. But to go one step further with it, and I'm going to move past this, so I'm going to go back to the screen. But to move past this, y'all have to stop passing judgment on people because they don't look like what you either want them to look like or expect them to look like or feel as though they should look like this for your entertainment, for your visual enjoyment, for your pleasure. They're not something to be used. She's still a human being. She's still a person. Now, again, I am not for the false positive body imagery stuff. I am not in the realm of telling somebody obesity is okay. But at the same time, if she is making a crap ton of money more by being larger than she normally would be or going back to some semblance of where she used to be, I have nothing against it. And I'm not going to turn around and fight against it. If she's taking care of herself and her health is fine, I have nothing to say about what she looks like. Nothing. I might have my concerns in the near future in terms of her health, but I am not going to sit here and denigrate this woman because I'm like, y'all don't even know what a BBL looks like if they did the surgery in front of y'all. Y'all need to stop. Y'all think y'all are experts on BBLs and y'all don't know a damn thing about it. So please, for the love of God, stop. Now I'm going to move on to the next segment, the final segment. And this segment is on the education tip. I came across this video not too long ago, and it really disturbed me as a professional, because as a teacher, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna be as 100% honest with you as I humanly can without necessarily getting myself fired. Okay, I teach in a middle school. I am 5 feet 4 inches tall and 155 pounds. There are kids in the 6th grade that are significantly bigger than I am. Not stronger, but they are physically larger than me. Okay, that's number one. Number two, there are some rude, disrespectful, onerous children that are being taught across this country. They are children that will try you. There are children that will step up to you like as if they're going to do something. There are children that will literally test that theory. But I will also say this. The only thing that I've ever heard a kid say at a certain time that makes sense is, but you're a whole adult. Now, in all fairness, I'm petty. As a teacher, I will clap back. So if you turn around and get smart with me, I'm going to get smart back. You about to catch all of this Bronx. And shout out to my kids that know who I am, and I tell them, do not make my Bronx come out. And I mean it. And I don't mean it as a threat, as in physical harm. When I say do not make my Bronx come out, I'm going to roast you. Do not try to be disrespectful to me, because I will be verbally as disrespectful to you as you are to me and still keep my job. Because I don't have to swear at you. I don't have to curse. I'll just roast you. And for my former students that watch this channel, put a 1 in the comments, put a 2, put a 1, as a matter of fact, put a 3 in the comments for my former students that do watch my channel that can turn around and vouch for me if I'm lying, if I'm not lying, because I know I'm not lying. I will roast you in a heartbeat. It doesn't say anywhere in the teacher handbook that I can't roast you because you're being disrespectful. But at the same time, one of the things that you will know about me is I am a fierce protector of my kids. Fierce protector. Do not come for my kids. Now you'll see, if you're an adult coming after my kids, you're going to have a problem with me. If you're a kid that's general education and you are coming after my special education kids, you're going to have a problem with me. It's just, and I am utilizing every edge of that teacher handbook to deal with y'all. If y'all are messing with my kids, and just as much as I won't let anybody mess with y'all either. I'm as real as they come. But what I will not and cannot imagine myself doing is simply launching an 11-year-old kid because they got spicy verbally with me. Let's get at it. Let's watch this video.
Starts now.
Well, thank you for joining us here on The News at 5. I'm Mike Seelan. Dawn Baker has the night off. Tonight, a shocking video of a teacher throwing a student across a classroom at Durant Middle School in Savannah. Our Madeline Bierster spoke with the heartbroken mother of that student, who is asking for accountability from the school district.
Disturbing video that Durant Middle.
So, you saw it. I'm not trying to show that over and over again, but my thing is this. How did it get this far? Even as an adult, I've had kids walk up this close to my face. And let me get back to this real quick. I've had kids get this close to my face and threaten to beat my ass. And I look at them. Some of them a little bit taller than me. Some of them not. And I look down at them. I look up. I might even have to actually look physically up at them. And I go, you don't want these problems. I promise you, you don't. I'll say that. You don't want these problems. And I'll laugh. And then you know what I do? I move. Because at that point, they're asking for a physical confrontation with you. You already know what they're trying to do. And you as an adult has to see that coming from a mile away. Literally had a kid threaten to beat my ass, quote unquote. And I turn around and I say, you're a little too light in the trousers, son. You're about 1/3 of what I could lift. You don't want these problems. So let me just move out your way and let you go back to doing what you're doing, because you put your hands on me, it will be my last day. Now that's a difference. Don't put your hands on me. As a teacher, don't put your hands, as I'm a teacher, do not put your hands on me, or we're going to have a problem. Now that is a different story. I didn't see that here in this video. So let's keep going.
Mother Chanel Russell received Friday. That afternoon, she got a call about what happened between her 6th grade son TJ and the football coach who was in charge of the classroom that day. That teacher was identified as Betrayal.
Football coach. So let me give y'all a little bit of insight to the mindset of athletic people in the athletic department. You're talking to former athletes, students who used to be troubled but found sports to alleviate the problems in their lives, may have made it far enough in life to actually earn a living in sports as either as a coach of a certain level of sport, especially in football, might have, definitely probably coaches high school or has coached high school. Probably played some college ball somewhere. And when you get into that mindset, that competitive spirit, and somebody comes up to you and tries you, all of a sudden, some people just snap. So while as an adult, let me turn around and have a conversation with the kids real quick. While as an adult, we have a responsibility to check ourselves out of the situation so that way it doesn't escalate beyond what it has. Y'all need to stay in the child's place too. Because he don't look small. He's clearly bigger than I am. The size of his thighs alone let me know that man be squatting. So you run up on him for what? What did you run up on him for? What did you thought was going to happen when you came up on him? You thought it was going to be sweet? You thought it was going to be cake? What did you think was going to happen running up on a grown man like that? I'm going to tell you, it is not a good look as a child to run up on grown folks and think that bad things cannot happen. Because what y'all children are banking on is that the level of responsibility of that adult is going to be greater than your irresponsibility for your own safety. And I'm here to tell you that there are adults that have not graduated from high school mentally. There are adults that have not graduated from high school mentally. So as a result of that, you cannot count on the nature of the adult to shine through to keep cooler heads and prevail. I promise you, I'm around adults all the time. And I promise you, they got their own issues, children. And those issues might be that when they are challenged in a certain way, they can't walk away. Like if you pop and jump to me, I'll pop jump back. I can't help it. I've always been like that. You could ask anybody that knows me. You talk trash, I'm trashing you back. And you could get me the worst. You could roast me to Italian roast. You could French roast me. I'm still coming back. Now, when it gets to the physical level, I'm not trying to go to jail. When it gets to the physical level, my mother raised me to, you don't touch me, I don't touch you. You're using words, I can use mine back. That's how my mother raised me. My mother raised me that if I started a fight, I'm getting a whooping. So I never started a fight, but I was taught to finish them. And finish I shall. All right? So children, those of y'all who watch, when I really don't necessarily want y'all watching, those of y'all who watch this channel, I'm telling y'all right now, stop playing in grown folks' faces. Because you don't know whether or not that grown-up is an actual grown-up or a teenager at 40 years old. You don't know. They still might be stuck in middle school. If they're lucky, they made it to high school. In terms of their behavior, in terms of their thought process, in terms of their emotions, they might still be stuck in one of those grade levels. But you just tried them. And you thought it was just going to be because he's an adult. He's not going to risk his job or his career over this. And guess what? You got lifted. I'm not saying he was right. Absolutely not. But what I'm telling you is you don't know who you're playing with sometimes. This is why I don't personally mess with people. To the students that I've taught, they will tell you, I teach them, don't mess with people because you don't know who you messing with. As a matter of fact, let's flip it back to the adult. Sir, you don't know who you messing with. You don't know who that kid is. You don't know who that kid is related to. You don't know if that kid is related to Thug in his prime or not. Why are you putting your hands on him? Because he tried you. Let me guess. He tried you, right? Started talking spicy and you had to show him. Now what? How did that end for you? How did that end for you? It didn't end well. He might have ended up on his back, but you ended up unemployed. For what? Now when you fill out your application, have you ever been accused of child abuse, neglect, or have you ever been physical with a child? You're going to have to say yes. And chances are, because you click yes on that, you're not probably getting hired.
I was told that he had a share of words that were inappropriate to TJ, and that he had, made some remarks about me, and my son was unhappy with it. So my son didn't.
Oh, wait a minute. So not only. So you talked about the boy's mom. You made inappropriate comments about the boy's mom. I don't know to what degree you made those inappropriate comments, but there's a line where if you're talking spicy to a kid, you can't go there, dude. You can't. Now he ran up on you. Now what? So now it's not even like you have the excuse of, excuse me, young man, I need you to get to your seat and do your work. Excuse me, young man, you're not allowed to do this. Excuse me, young man, why are you up? Hey, yo, why are you talking while the teacher's talking? Why are you talking while I'm talking? Nothing to that degree. You're not disciplining this kid based on his behavior. You talking spicy. You talking habanero. You talking Carolina Reaper spicy to this little boy. For what? Talk about his mom? Even I won't do that. That's a little below the belt. That's below the belt. That's uncalled for. Like I said, I will roast a kid. I'll roast them. But I will never bring up their parents. Under no circumstance. Whether there's things I know about them or not. That's just disrespectful. That's a level of disrespect that even as an adult, nah. You went too far. You started making inappropriate comments about this boy's mom. And I can't even imagine what you said. Okay?
In front of the classroom to approach the teacher, letting him know, hey, stop talking about my mom. The teacher then came closer to my son. My son again said, stop talking about my mom. And also wanted to, call someone to call my mom. From that point, he was then grabbed and thrown to the floor.
The comments, according to this student, were sexual in nature. Russell says she's never met this teacher.
Wow.
The teacher would say anything like this to her son.
I just feel like they failed me. They let me down. It is heartbreaking. It causes a lack of trust in the school system.
As that video continues, that teacher can be seen standing over and straddling the student after throwing him down.
He then grabbed Travius and shoved him out of the classroom. It was witnessed by the assistant principal that he was thrown out of the classroom. Yes. Aggressively, again.
They went to the ER that night. TJ now has a concussion and multiple bruises. He's frightened to go back to school. School told Russell that the teacher has been, quote, removed and placed elsewhere until the investigation is complete.
I really feel like he don't need to be placed anywhere else. He needs to be placed in jail. He hurt my boy. I wouldn't do that to my child. His father wouldn't do that to him. So,
Whoo, my goodness. Oh my God, I'm on YouTube. I can't say what I want to say. I'll say this though. First of all, for those of y'all who know me, you know I don't play like that at all. Not even the least bit. The extent of my conversation with people is like, I'll make you famous. You want to be famous, I'll make you famous. I will roast you. I'll clown you. And I won't and knowing situations like, I'm not clowning about appearance in the literal sense. I won't do stuff like that. I'll start roasting them about the situation at hand. If they start talking crazy, I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? And I won't bring up educational issues. I will never do that either. That's again below the belt. You talking crazy. You started talking about this boy's mom in a sexual nature for what? What in your right mind thought that would be okay? She's never met you, but you talking about this boy's mom in a sexual nature. Why? What even brought you to the place where you thought it would be okay to do that? I'm gonna put it like this. You would have to see me after school or after I take my son to the hospital and have him checked out. He's not going to be the only one with a concussion. My son will not be the only one with a concussion by every extent of the word. I'm talking as a parent now. Because one of the things that as a teacher we sometimes forget is that we wouldn't want that done to any of our kids. So how dare you, as a teacher, turn around and not only formulate words in such disrespect, talking about this boy's mom in such a sexual nature. Whether you have seen her from afar, from a distance when she was dropping him off or whatever, it is inappropriate for you to be talking like that. Why are you talking so spicy? You put an extra sauce on that conversation, and that is absolutely unnecessary. And that boy had every right to get in your face. Now that I heard what I heard, that boy had every right to get in your face. Why? Why do you think it would be okay for you to put your hands on that little boy like that? Because he stepped to you like that little boy should have, because you are talking about his mom in a very disrespectful manner. Now, again, this is not a conversation of discipline where I'm telling this young man to sit down and do his work, and he's like, I ain't doing nothing, and you can't make me. And I was like, oh, I can make you. I didn't say I was going to put my hands on you. I said I can make you, though. How about I call your mom? Now he gets up out of his seat and comes and confronts me because I'm telling him I'm about to call his mom. I'm still not putting my hands on him. I'm going to turn around and say, please go back to your seat. Or else what? Okay. Or else what? Okay, fine. Or else I click the black button and security comes and gets you. That's what I'm going to say. Not because I'm afraid of this kid. I'm not afraid of him at all. It's to protect me. It's to protect my job. Ain't no kid. First of all, let me explain something to you. My son is 6'6", 270 plus pounds. I'm not scared of him. What makes you think I'm scared of a sixth grader of any size? What makes you think I'm scared of a 7th grader or an 8th grader of any size? My high school students would tell you, I have stopped basketball players from fighting with my own 2 hands, by myself. Parted ways like the Red Sea, by myself. Carried one off on my shoulder while holding the other one back. Myself. What makes you think, and they're 6'2" and 6'4" and 6'3" and all this other crazy stuff. What makes you think I'm scared of a kid? None. Not a solitary one. But at the same time, when that kid gets extra, I am not putting my hands on him. And in full disclosure, in my profession right now, I take care of the kids with behavior issues. Full on behavior issues. Throw stuff, smash stuff, yell obscenities at the highest level at you. May attempt to hit you. And never in the history of ever have I ever had to put my hands on a kid. Not in that fashion, nope. I've had to do some holds, some school appropriate holds to stop a kid from kicking and headbutting and, and spitting and stuff like that. But I have never had to put my hands on a kid where I launched them it looked like 4 or 5 feet. But you brought that on yourself. It wasn't even a disciplinary issue. This wasn't about discipline. This wasn't about compliance. This wasn't even about, in dealing with a kid who's just being incorrigible. That's not even what this was about. You started talking crazy about this boy's mom in a sexual manner. And then when that boy decided to defend his mom's honor and stepped to you, he didn't even get close enough to you for you to put his hands on him. You got closer to him, grabbed him, and launched him. I'm telling you right now, my son would not be the only one with a concussion. You could bet on that. I might have one too, but I guarantee you having one right along with me. We all 3 of us gonna have concussions. Make no mistake about it. You put your hands on my son like that, I promise you, that's what it's gonna be like. As a teacher, you do not do that. You put yourself in harm's way. You did that to yourself. And on top of that, when this boy decided to defend his honor, you instead of you turning around going, my bad, even as a grown man, you know if you stepped a little bit on the far side. And you'd be like, you know what, my bad, little dude. You know, I said something a little out of pocket. My bad. You know what? I shouldn't have said that. He could even step off and be like, you shouldn't have said that, and walked away. You know what? Eat it. Because you shouldn't have said that. You're lucky that you would be lucky if he lets it go at that moment and doesn't file a complaint on you for that alone. Talking spicy about his mom. And then on top of that, you have the nerve to grab him and launch him? Nah, son. You gonna have to see me outside after school. I'm taking off work, and however many hours I took off work, I'm taking out of your behind. I'm just gonna straight up take it. Always.
To take initiative to do that. It's sickening. What are you going through at home? Are you beating on your children? Are you beating on your wife?
Russell says she doesn't want this to change the way her son thinks of teachers or school as a whole, but is worried about the emotional toll this will have long term.
He's going to need therapy. And I'm not saying that to be funny. I'm not saying, I promise you, I'm not trying to be funny right now. He's going to need therapy. Because he did the right thing. That young man did the right thing. Like I said, there are some times where these kids be trying you. Everybody that's out there in the teacher land, they know what I'm talking about. There is somebody, middle school, high school, they're going to try you. But you got to keep a level head. Even when they're trying you. This little boy was not trying anybody. He was standing up for the honor of his mom. And any young man in any household, single parent, double parent, doesn't matter, is going to defend the honor of their mom and or dad, depending on the nature of the relationship of the family. Whether it's two dads, two moms, a mom and a dad, doesn't matter. They're going to defend their family and has every right to. You have no right to talk about that boy's mom like that. And like I said, if it got to that point where he did step to you, you should have stepped down. You should have stepped off. Only because of the simple fact that you knew you were wrong for talking about that boy's mom like that. I don't know what possessed you to even do that. That's just stupid.
She says the school district needs to have more thorough training and a better vetting process.
I hate that he had to be made an example out of to get a sick individual out of a schoolhouse, but something needs to change.
I reached out to the Savannah-Chatham County Public School System. They said the teacher was immediately reassigned to an alternate location to ensure they had no interaction with students from there. A teacher resigned this weekend after the incident on Friday. I did reach out to him and have not yet received a response. Russell is still pursuing criminal charges on behalf of her son. Reporting live in the newsroom, Madeline Bierster, WTOC News.
As she should. You put your hands on her child needlessly. You weren't separating a fight. You weren't deterring him from assaulting you. You know, in the day and age where on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram, I see videos of kids putting their hands on their teachers all the time, and then the teacher retaliates back. This was not that video. And as a professional educator, that is, we're not on the professional as a fitness expert, but as a professional teacher, there are just lines you just don't cross, dude. You just don't cross those lines. And you talking about that boy's mom crossed that line. in a sexual nature at that. I don't care what nature you talked about her in, because you could have been talking about lifestyle. You could have been talking about appearance. You could have been talking about financial stability, any of that. That's out of bounds. You're out of pocket for that. That's pertinent information that you are probably privileged to, that you are now weaponizing against this student in order to fulfill your ego. Like I said, I'll roast a kid, but I'll roast the kid. And I'm not going to go into the finances, especially if that kid is not in a, financially stable home. I'm not going to roast him about his clothes and his appearance and all this other stuff. That's not where you go with that. You don't do that. You could clown him about the way, certain things. not even about the way he talks. Especially if they have an impediment. You don't do that. I have roasted kids that have been caught with paraphernalia, so to speak. I've roasted them about that. I brought stuff up like that to them. But I would never talk about their living situations. I would never talk about their parental situations, their custody situations. I would never talk about their parents in any capacity. I might bring up a parent. Like, I'll give you an example. If I know a student's parent is a very strict parent, I'll say something like, you don't want me to call your moms. You know your moms will be up here in a hot second to deal with you. Stop acting like you extra hard when you know your mom would do you dirty. Something to that effect. That's the roast that I'm talking about. I'm not talking about, like, what are those? I'm not doing that. I mean, I might do that. I'm not going to lie. I might do that to be funny, and it's a mutual joke, because I'm sure they're gonna walk up to me and go, what are those? I'm good with that. I'm okay with that. That's a relationship thing. But I would not do that to just any kid. I would do that to the kid who has nice sneakers. Either typically has nice sneakers or is wearing some extra weird type exotic kicks or something like that. I would not do that to a kid who doesn't have good finances at home, who is struggling to just make it from day to day. I would never do that. My students know my heart, and they know that will never be something I would do. But if it's about, like, hey, you acting extra tough, when I know if I called your dad right now, you'll turn into a soft serve ice cream cone in a heartbeat, don't play with me. That's the type of stuff I'm talking about when I say roast. Oh, you acting like you brick tough right now. Okay, cool. You brick tough right now. Let me see if you get soft serve when I call your pops. Yo, why you gotta call my dad, yo? Well, okay, I thought you was him. I thought you was him. I am him, but you ain't gotta call my pops. Oh, well, no, I do. Because you acting very extra right now. And we ain't about that life right now. We ain't outside. We ain't in the streets. We in school. Act like it. Because I will call your mom and I will call your dad. In a heartbeat. Think I won't when I will? Sure. Let's go for it. On the flip side, because I'm about to land this plane. Kids, this is not an example of what I was recently just talking about. But at the same time, do not run up on an adult, even if you think you can take them. You don't know what that adult's been through. You don't know what that adult knows. He might turn around and poke you in the shoulder, shut your whole arm off. He might hit you with a 3-finger jutsu move, and next thing you know, you twitching on the floor. You don't know. Don't run up on grown folks like that. Stay in a child's place and don't run up on an adult. Adults, like I said, some of y'all are still in middle school. Some of y'all are still in high school. And y'all will never ascend past that. But for when you turn around and throw out the heat, expect to have heat thrown back, especially in the form of talking about a boy's mom in a sexual manner. And if you're married, you definitely cook, buddy. Because why are you talking about a grown woman like that when you got a wife at home? Now, if a kid says something weird, you can roast them on saying something weird. Hey, yo, what are you doing? Pause, buddy. What are you doing, little Diddy? What are you talking about? You talking crazy right now. You know, stuff like that. That's the level of roasting I'm talking about. But for you to go there with a kid where you talking sexually about his mom and you didn't think anything was coming back at you, good luck with that. If you're a teacher, my friendly advice is stay in the teacher's place. And if you don't have a particular level of relationship with a kid, don't go there. Unless they're really trying you. And like I said, don't go there. You can roast them, but don't go there. Like if they got stuck on a toilet or something, you can roast them about that. Stuff like that. But no, everything else, that's not fair game, dude. That is just not fair game. So, guys, that's my time. I am going to enjoy my dinner, play around with my new toys. Some of them are things that my wife got me for Christmas. Some of it is things that I got myself for Christmas. And I'm just going to enjoy life. I'll have a video out tomorrow for sure. So be on the lookout for that. But in the meantime, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and on YouTube. Have a nice day. Be the best you. Class is Stoutt.